Thank you for coming to my presentation. We're going to start off with 3 simple questions. Then I'm going to tell you a little bit about it and then talk about myself and then show you some examples. So question number 1, do you want to leave a legacy for future generations? Number 2, do you want to save taxes year after year, generation after generations? Number 3, do you want to learn the secret of the rich? If you answered yes to all 3 questions, you're in the right location. Imagine saving 4, 5, 6 figures in taxes every single year. You can use this money to put back in your business, pay off your mortgage, buy a new car, take your family on vacation, give to a charity, or save for retirement. Imagine all lawsuits become frivolous and go away. Think about how much time, money, and worry and anxiety just disappear. Imagine no one knows what you own, how much you own, where you own it, or what you do with it. Welcome to Save U.S. Taxes Legally. My name is Sally Gimmon, and I'm the owner of thetrustisyou.com in a free class on the Great Discovery. If you just go out to www.sallygimmon.com, you'll get 3 articles from Forbes magazine, 2 pages of case law, and examples of clients using the trust. Now, I believe every investor, U.S. business owner, entrepreneur, franchisee owner, and 1099 income earner needs to know this information. It's not taught in schools. I believe since I found a solution for my tax problem, it is my duty to share this information with as many people as possible. I also believe that the playing field must be leveled for all businesses. The Amazons of the world get free land in Long Island. My brother's brewery that was around for 8 years lost its lease because the person who owned the building wanted higher rents. Now, write this down. The trusts are going to save you in 4 specific ways. Number 1, you're going to save taxes year after year, generation after generation. Number 2, it's going to keep your information completely private. I'm a real estate investor. They told me to get an LLC for every one of my properties. They did not tell me that anyone can go online to the Secretary of State or the Corporation Commission and research LLCs, S Corps, and C Corps, and that 40% of these companies get sued every year. Number 3, talking about lawsuits. If you have all your assets in the trust, all lawsuits become frivolous. So if the renter's dog gets out and bites the mailman cannot come after the owner, only after the renter. And number 4, if you have the Spendthrift Trust, you're exempt from doing the 2024 Corporate Transparency Act. This is from the Treasury Department, and you have until December 31st to do the paperwork for the Treasury Department, or be fined $10,000 and or 2 years for not doing the paperwork. It's a little bit ugly. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, how can this be true? How come my financial advisor has not told me about this? Why hasn't my CPA told me about this? It's a good question. There are over 1 million attorneys in the United States. Only 4% are trust attorneys. A textbook trust attorney study in school is called Scott and Asher on Trusts, 5th edition. This also can be found in Black's Law Dictionary under the Spendthrift Trust. The history of this, it comes from England way back when King Henry VIII, that famous king who chopped off his wives' heads, started the Church of England. He was broke, so he went to go tax the lords and ladies of England, and they went further back into history to the Magna Carta of the 13th century. It's contract law that came from England to the colonies while we're still part of England. Our current tax code went into effect February of 1913 and was only supposed to be around for a few years. It's 111 years later, and it's still going strong. We got involved in World War I. That's why it's still here. Back in 1913, super rich families, the Carnegies, the DuPonts, the Kennedys, and the Rockefellers made sure they could save taxes. If they can save taxes, we can save taxes. Now, I'm going to go over the 5 elements that you need for the Spendthrift Trust. It's irrevocable, complex, discretionary, non-grantor, Spendthrift Trust. You must have all 5 elements. Irrevocable. It means it goes from generation to generation. It does not mean that once something's in the trust, it cannot come out of the trust. That's a false rumor. 97% of trusts sold in the United States are exactly what my mom and dad had and what Susie Orman talks about on PBS television, the family trust. That is only the people who only avoids probate and then dissolves. This is not your mom and dad's trust. Irrevocable, complex. This trust can hold money day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, decade to decade, century to century. Again, the family trust dissolves and all assets must be split out. Irrevocable, complex, discretionary. Whoever is a trustee or trustees can make the rules. There's no infighting. There's no contesting the will. Just to give you an example, a husband and wife who are both trustees own 4 apartment buildings in Los Angeles. Their daughter is living in one of the apartments rent-free, and they're requiring her to do 4 random drug tests per month to stay there. She actually took her mom and dad to federal court to sue them, saying that it was unconstitutional. The judge looked over everything, and he said to her she has 2 options. Either continue doing the drug tests and pass them, or move out and start paying rent. The trust can hold up to that. Irrevocable, complex, discretionary. 4th one, non-grantor. When you start the Spendthrift Trust, you are going to have someone who's not a beneficiary or the trustee sign up to be the grantor or the settler. It's not a speed bump, but you do need their social security number. You can use myself or somebody from the law firm free of charge. I personally used a family friend, Roy, to be my non-grantor on both my business and beneficial trust. I took him to lunch, and he had to sign his name 17 times. He had arthritis of his hands, so it was not a good thing to work with. And then the 5th element, irrevocable, complex, discretionary, non-grantor, spendthrift. The Spendthrift Trust has been in front of the United States Supreme Court on 2 separate occasions, and both times it's been favored. You can't get more legal than this. It's legal. So the law firm I work on behalf of was started by Paul Benson, a Harvard law professor who wrote 5 separate trusts 76 years ago, and not a single trust has ever been audited. They're so confident they're going to give you a certification saying if you get questioned by the IRS, they will defend you free of charge. It's happened once, just once. A senior IRS agent went down to Houston, where the law firm is, to go over a business spendthrift trust. He spent 5 hours looking things over. And he signed off on it. This is how legal and how much they say this that they can help you on this. The law firm has been in existence for 76 years, and it keeps on going strong. Since we're going to be spending some time together, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. October 2018 was my watershed month for me. 3 major things happened. I'm living in Phoenix, Arizona, working full-time as a Medicare broker, and my oldest nephew was getting married in Charlotte, North Carolina, October 28th. If you know anything about Medicare, open enrollment is from October 7th through December 5th. I requested the Friday before the wedding, the Monday after the wedding off, and I was denied, even though I had the time. Second thing that happened, my brand new sports car with a moonroof, you need that in Phoenix when it's hot out at night. I'm driving to work, 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm the 2nd car through on a green light on Indian School Road. Some idiot runs the red light, T-bones me on my passenger side. He has no insurance, and I don't have gap insurance. My car was totaled. I had to get a 2nd car, so 2 car payments. I go from being comfortable to eating ramen noodles twice a week, just like in college. Third thing that happened, my mom and dad, who lived in Goodyear, Arizona, 25 miles west of Phoenix, drove to Charlotte and were supposed to be gone for 2 weeks. The Thursday before the wedding, my dad calls me to say my mom's in the emergency room. They're not sure what's wrong. He'll let me know. She ended up having septic of the blood. She was on a ventilator for 13 months, in a hospital for 15 months, and my dad stayed with my mom in Charlotte for 9 months. They weren't planning to be gone that long. When I worked until Friday before the wedding, till 8 o'clock, drove to Sky Harbor Airport, did a red eye to Charlotte. We went out to breakfast at IHOP, family tradition. My dad drove me to the hospital. I walked in on the priest giving my mom last rites. I was not ready for that. 3 o'clock that afternoon, I go to this fantastic wedding with friends and family from Scotland, England, Ireland, and New Zealand, all there. Sunday, my sister-in-law puts on this beautiful brunch for all of us. My dad drives me back to the hospital to see my mom, and then I flew home because I had to be back at work at 6 o'clock on Monday morning. My dad's staying in North Carolina for 9 months with my mom. Once a week, I'm driving out to Goodyear to do the mail. First week of December, there's a letter that's 27 pages thick. It's my mom's statement from Medicare that was showing being in the emergency room in 1 month on a ventilator. That was $72,000. My dad, who was a retired military officer at TRICARE for Life, and everything was being taken care of. She got better. She came home. I'm standing in my mom and dad's kitchen. I have 2 car payments. I have a mortgage. I have student loans because I went to graduate school. I have credit card debt. I have an $8,000 deductible on my health insurance I didn't have to use on that car accident, and I hate my job. Right then and there, I called my friend Glenn, who had invited me to a real estate meeting. And I said to Glenn on the phone, I need to change my life. He's like, Sally, next Saturday, we're having a potluck Christmas party. Bring a $5 gift and some food and meet my fellow real estate investors. I don't know about y'all, but going to a party where you don't know many people, a little bit scary. It's the best decision I could ever have done. In 2019, with my mentor Jay Tannenbaum, I wholesaled 7 properties nationwide and paid off $184,000 in debt. Woohoo! I'm a rock star in my real estate group, and I knew about capital gains and had $50,000 sitting in my bank account to pay my capital gains. April 4th of 2020, my CPA calls me and says, hey, congratulations, Sally. Your tax bracket went from 22% to 24%. If they'll go forward. There are 7 different tax brackets. The more money you make, the more money you have to pay in taxes. April 4th, 2020. So start of COVID, and 3 of my properties did not pay me on April 1st. He set up an appointment with me. I went out to his office late in the afternoon, signed the paperwork to get on a payment plan with the IRS, got my parking validated, went down to the parking garage and cried for 20 minutes. If you know where Scottsdale is, it's east of Phoenix. I drove home in the sunset, tears running down my face. My mom, who's Irish, my great aunt Kitty in Ireland, always said sleep on it. A great book to read is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. And I went to bed and woke up at 5 a.m. the next day to get online to research the Rockefellers Spendthrift Trust. It's called The Office. It's 7 generations old. It has almost 400 people under the same EIN number. And if they can save taxes, I can save taxes. I spent 5 months researching the Spendthrift Trust, and in September of 2020, I started both my business and my beneficial Spendthrift Trust. I also started holding a mastermind in my real estate group in Phoenix. I was the first female mastermind holder there, and I was doing great. So I want to show with the beneficial Spendthrift Trust. Oops, come on, go forward. If you have short-term capital gains, income taxes, dividend income taxes, or rental income taxes, and you're making $50,000 in profits, this is how much you'll pay at different tax brackets. My tax bracket went from 22% to 24%, and since having the trust, I use 24% as my tax bracket. I've wholesaled 28 properties. I have 12 notes that are interest income taxes, 3 rentals, and so I know how to save money on all this. This is my first house in the trust. I bought it in July of 2020 for $20,000 with my LLC. It was supposed to go to auction for $50,000. In September of 2020, I Googled 2 bill of sales. I did 1 bill of sale from my LLC to me, 2nd bill of sale from me to the trust. I drove to the bank to get it notarized. I had $10, handed it to the banker. He made a note in his notary book, handed it back to me. I drove home. I scanned both bill of sales to the attorney in Raleigh. Next day, the attorney in Raleigh contacted me by email and said he needed the first page of my trust. That's what I did. When this went to auction on August 28th of 2021, without lifting a hammer, I went to auction for $64,326. I made $44,326 on 1 property, and I saved $10,368 on that one property at 24%. With the beneficial trust, you're going to save 5 taxes: short-term capital gains, long-term capital gains, interest income, dividend income, rental income, and royalty income taxes. This picture that I showed back here, royalty income taxes are a little bit less, between 10% to 35%. Now we're going to talk about the business trust. This is for all U.S. business owners, entrepreneurs, franchisee owners, and 1099 income earners. You will save at least 90% on your federal income taxes, and in 43 states no longer pay state income taxes. 2022, 2023, I personally saved 92% on my federal income taxes, or I saved, and I only had to pay 8%, did not pay North Carolina taxes. So the mechanic is in New Jersey. He has 3 grown children who have no desire to take over his mechanic store. He went in September to the local high school, hired 2 kids to come in after school, and on Saturdays brings in more work and is saving even more money. The salon owner in a salon school in Los Angeles makes over $1 million a year, and she's saving $33,467 per month. The home inspection company in Ohio has 7 inspectors, and this is how much they're saving. The real estate broker in Illinois is saving $59,754. The dentist in California, the HVAC owner in Georgia. The real estate agent is here, a local real estate agent here in Waxhaw, North Carolina. On one house in August of 2023, she saved $5,022 in federal income taxes and North Carolina state income taxes. Since that time, she has sold 6 more houses. Congratulations to her. A business coach in Indiana, a chiropractor in New York, a gentleman with 2 sub shops in Ohio. He took his $40,122 and opened up a 3rd sub shop. An Amazon store owner in Oregon, commercial lighting salesman in Illinois, and a paid speaker out of Indiana, all saving money. Now, when you have a business and you're going to sell it, you'll pay long-term capital gains on this. This is a true story. A son saw my TikTok video in December of 2022, contacted me and said his mom and dad were selling a restaurant for $3 million, as is everything in it. I got on Zoom with Jim and Mary Ann and told them on April 15th of 2024, at 15%, they would pay $450,000 in capital gains, and on April 15th at 20%, pay $600,000. They were using a business broker. I had to contact Sam, the business broker, to tell him we had to change the paperwork. Sam's like, hey, I make 1099 income, and he bought the business trust. Sam told the gentleman who was buying the family restaurant, it was going to be his 7th restaurant, about the business trust, and Sam made a commission off of that because I have a JV program. This is one of my favorite examples. Local pizzeria, a New York style pizzeria here. In March of 2023, I took my friend Ingrid door knocking. We showed up about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and got a fantastic New York style white pizza. And we sat and chit-chatted for about 2 hours. As we got up to leave, Mario asked for a business card, and I met him and his wife, Mary Ann, a week later. They were doing their 2022 taxes. They knew between 2 locations, they were making $15,000 gross per month, $180,000 per year, saving them at least 90%. I used the number 90%. They would save $27,193 in federal taxes and an extra $7,710 for a full year in North Carolina state income taxes for $34,903. What they did with that, in 2024, they opened a 3rd location. In 2025, they're going to open a 4th location. When they retire in 2036, they're going to leave 2 pizzerias to 1 grown child and 2 pizzerias to a 2nd grown child. No inheritance tax, and the adult children will continue to save federal and state income taxes legally. Now, every time that I sell a trust, I donate $100 in my mom's name. She grew up food insecure in Ireland, and my grandfather died in December 1939. I can palm a basketball, and my mom's fingers were an inch longer than mine. She was only 5'2", wore size 9 shoes, I'm 5'9" and my brother's 6'3". And neat thing is, St. Mary's Food Bank is the oldest food bank in the entire nation. If you are interested to set up a 30-minute tax breakthrough session with me, my website is www.thetrustisyou.com scheduling. If you want to find out more information, get 3 articles from Forbes magazine, 2 pages of case law, and examples of clients using the trust. I have a free class on the Great Discovery, www.sallygimmon.com. Thank you for coming to watch my show. I hope you found out something new, and contact me if you could be saving taxes. Take care. Have a wonderful week.